this video, we're going to learn that how to create cost elements in SAP ECC and how to create cost elements in SAP S/4HANA. So, what are cost elements or what is cost element accounting? To update CO records or submodules, we need cost elements. So, there are two types of cost elements in SAP. One is called the primary cost element and the other one is secondary cost element in SAP. So what are the primary cost elements? Primary cost elements are like your material cost, personal cost, energy cost, where a corresponding GL account exists in FI to allow cost to flow. So primary cost elements are our journal ledger accounts and postings are possible in primary cost elements. Whereas secondary cost elements are like production cost, material overhead, production overhead. They can be created and administrated in C only. So that is a concept we have in SAP EC6. So secondary cost element are other than the journal ledger account, and posting to secondary cost elements are not possible as they are used to allocation for allocation and settlements. But in SAP S/4HANA, this concept is entirely different. Now all your primary cost element and secondary cost element are created through the journal ledger master data. And the transaction code KA01 and KA06 for primary and secondary cost for the creation of primary and secondary cost elements are not available anymore in SAP S/4HANA. So in this video, we're going to cover that how to create a cost element in the older system, which is SAP EC6, and the latest one, which is SAP S/4HANA. So when we are creating our chart of account in SAP EC6, where there we have an option controlling integration, which is there we have two options, manual creation of cost elements and automatic creation of cost element. So let's see. First we're going to see that those options. So SPRO, SAP reference IMG, you can go in financial accounting new, journal ledger accounting new. In journal ledger we have master data. In master data we have a GL accounts, preparations, and there we have this option edit chart of account list. I'm going to use a chart of account which is N123. So here if you see, here we have this option. This is SAP EC6 and here we have this option which is integration, controlling integration, manual creation of cost elements. So here we have two options, manual creation of cost elements and automatic creation of cost elements. So there are two ways to create cost elements manually. So whenever we are creating a ledger, so that time we can create a cost element, which is again a manual creation, and the other code that the transaction code, that is KA01. So first, whenever you are creating a ledger, the same time you can create a cost element. So the code is for to create a ledger in SAP, to create the chart of accounts. So FS00, enter. So I'm going to use here the company code, which is N123, and for example we have 6014, which is our rent expense account. So when you created this GL account, the same time we have this tab which is added cost elements. So you can click this option, edit cost element, and remember We are creating right now primary cost elements. So primary cost elements are same like our journal ledger account. So in our chart of account 6014, that is a rent expense account. So if you're creating a primary cost element, the code for the cost element, that will be the same. We cannot enter any other random code. If you are creating this rent expense as a cost element, then you need to use the same GL account number. So it is valid from 01/01/2020, and then press enter, or you can click on this master data. So system will automatically pick up the name and the description. But the important thing we need to mention here, which is a cost element category. So for this rent expense, the cost element category is 0, it is 1, which is primary cost reducing revenues. And for the sales account, for primary revenues account, you need to select this option revenues here. So this is an expenditure account. So that's why we're going to select here 1, which is primary cost reducing revenue. Enter. And then we have this option, that is default account assignment. If you already created a cost center for this rent expense, then you can enter this cost center code here. But right now we don't have that cost center code created in our company code, so I'm not gonna enter the cost center code here. So save it. So that is the first method, manual creation of cost element. Similarly, I'm going to create 6013, which is a wages expense. So you can click this added cost element also, and the same GL account number, that is a validity, valid from, and then press enter, or you can click on this master data. So again, same, the name, wages expense, description is this, and cost element category, you need to mention here 1, which is primary cost reducing revenue. So that is the first method to create a primary cost element manually. The other method through which we can create a primary cost element or secondary cost element, to create the primary cost element manually, the short key, the transaction code, that is KA01, and for secondary cost element, the transaction code is KA06. So let's suppose I'm going to enter this sales, and I'm gonna enter this newspaper. So these two accounts I'm gonna create uh, through that transaction code KA01. That is again a manual creation of cost element, because as in our chart of account we selected here the integration manual creation of cost element, and then I'm gonna tell you that how to create cost element automatically. So I'm gonna create this newspaper as a manual creation also, and also this sales account, which is 4000. So let's see how to create these two. I'm going to open another new session. So you need to go in accounting. In accounting we have this controlling module. In controlling we have cost element accounting. In cost element you need to click this master data. In master data we have this cost element. In cost element we have this individual processing, and here we have two options, that is create primary, to create a primary cost element, and the transaction code is KA01, and KA06, which is creation of secondary cost element. And if you want to change a master data, you want to display the information, or if you want to delete a primary or secondary cost element, you can use this transaction code KA04. So right now we're going to create two more cost element, which is sales and newspaper expense account. So KA01, double click. So the sales GL account is 4000 and validity is from 01/01/2020, and click on this master data. So that is a sales account, and here you need to select 11, which is the category revenue. Enter and then save it. So again I want to create another one which is 6010 for newspaper. Click on this master data, and because that is an expenditure account, expense account, so here we're going to select the category 1. If that is a revenue account, you need to select the category, the cost element category 11. So right now it is 1 because that is an expense account. Enter and save it. So this is how you will create these cost element manually. Next step is that if you want to create a cost element automatically, but before that I'm going to create one secondary cost element which is KA06. So double click, and now remember, as per SAP, you cannot enter this for the creation of a secondary cost element. You cannot enter the same GL account. Because why? Because secondary cost element are not your journal ledgers. They are other than the journal ledger accounts. So we cannot enter a journal ledger code here. As you know that 6014, that is our rent expense. So for example, if I'm gonna enter here 6014 and press enter, so it will give us this error message that GL account 6014 exists because that is a primary cost element and secondary cost element does not exist. So here you need to give a unique code. So let's assume it that I'm gonna enter here 7 tetra 0. So there is no corresponding journal ledger exist in our chart of account list. So we enter this code and click on this master data. I'm creating right now a secondary cost element, and for example that is machine hours. So click on this master data, and here you need to enter the description that is a machine hours. Similarly, you can enter the description also, and here the cost element category we need to select 43, that is internal activity allocation. Enter and then you can save it. So this is how you can create primary or secondary cost element in SAP EC6, and that is the first method, which is manual creation of cost element. Because in our chart of account, when we are creating the chart of account code, we selected here the option which is manual creation of cost element. Now next step is that what if we selected here automatic creation of cost elements. So select this option, save it. So now we selected the option which is automatic creation of cost element. Automatic creation of cost element. So I'm going to create some ledgers automatic creation of cost element. So how we can do that in SAP EC6. So I'm going to show you from this 6006 till 6009. So if you select and click on this added cost element, look, right now this cost that this income tax account is not our primary cost element, is yet not created. So I'm going to create this through an automatic creation in SAP. So how we can do that? First, SPRO SAP reference IMG. You need to go in controlling. In controlling, we have this cost element accounting. In cost element accounting, you need to go in the master data. In master data, we have cost elements. In cost element, we have first option is what? Automatic creation of primary and secondary cost elements. So here we have first option, which is make default setting. Execute. So I'm going to create, as I told you, that we're going to take an example of the GL account from 6006 to 6009. That we need to create these through this automatic creation of cost elements. So this is our chart of account. When you execute this one, make default settings. When you execute this one, you need to verify, you need to enter your chart of account code, which is N123 right now. Press enter. So here you need to give the range from account to account, and you need to select the cost element category. So we're going to make new entry here. So I'm going to enter account from, press enter, and I'm going to select here from 6005 to 6009, and that is our cost element category is 1, which is primary cost, cost reducing revenue. Similarly, I'm going to check if there is any related with the sales. Let's suppose I'm going to select from this 4001 to 402, which is our revenue category. Enter and press enter. So now next step is that you need to save it, press enter, and go one step back again, and you need to create batch input sessions now. So execute. So our controlling area is N00, valid from this to this, and you can change the session name, it's on you, and then execute. When you execute, this session name will be created, and it's showing us that these are the cost elements, in which we have two are our secondary, and the rest are our primary cost elements. So we need to create a batch for these cost elements. All you need to do, just press enter and then go one step back. So batch is created, and now the last step is that you need to execute batch input sessions here. Execute. So your batch name is here, so select the session and process it. Display errors only, extend in an expert mode, process. So the cost elements are created now. Session overview, and if we're gonna check the cost elements, it's already there now. The category is there. Similarly, I'm gonna check this electricity, because previously it was not created 6008. So if you click here 6008, it's already there. We didn't create manually. So this is how you will create automatic creation of cost elements in SAP. Similarly, if you want to check through the shortkey to the transaction code, which is KA01, so I'm gonna enter here 6009 and click on this master data. So it said that cost element already exists, so it is already created now. So this is how you will create automatic creation of cost elements in SAP. Similarly, you can create the same the secondary cost element. So this is how you will create primary or secondary cost element in SAP through these two methods, one is manual creation of cost element and the other one is automatic creation of cost elements. Now, in the next step, we're going to check that how to create these cost elements, primary or secondary cost element in SAP S/4HANA. So let's see, we need to open SAP S/4HANA. So next step is that how to create cost elements, primary or secondary cost element in SAP S/4HANA. So that primary or secondary cost elements, they are now a part of journal ledger accounts. So we need to create primary or secondary cost element through GL account master data. So in SAP S/4HANA, the transaction code KA01 and KA06 for primary and secondary cost elements are obsolete now. These codes are not available in S/4HANA. So if you're going to enter here the short key, which is KA01, will give us, it bring us to the chart of account, the ledger creation window. Similarly, if you're going to enter KA06, enter, it will bring us to the same page to create GL account centrally. It is KA06, enter. So it is in the same window, which is GL account centrally, from where we are creating the ledgers. So let's see how to create this primary or secondary cost element in SAP S/4HANA. So you need to go in accounting. In accounting, we have financial accounting. In financial accounting, we have journal ledgers. In journal ledgers, we have master data. In master data, we have GL accounts, individual processing, and FS00 centrally. So through the ledger, you can create your primary and secondary cost element in SAP S/4HANA. So I'm going to use here the company code KA12. Open the GL account, press enter. So let's suppose I'm going to create one primary cost revenue, or I'm going to create one expense account. For example, I'm going to create here printing expense account, which is 6015. So 6015, you need to click on this create. So that is a change we have in SAP S/4HANA. So here you need to select the GL account type. So this is our primary cost or revenue, and this comes under account group we created, that is expenses. And here you need to write the short text. This is printing expense account, and long text you can enter. This is printing expenses account, and that is because we activated a group account, group chart of account, so we need to enter the group account number. So let's see if we have a printing expense account here. Okay, right now I guess there is no printing expense account in this group chart of account, so I'm taking this one under any account, under, let's suppose, this purchases account. And then you need to go on the control data, only balance in local currency, and sort key I'm going to enter 008 cost center wise, and the most important thing, because now it is a part of that now you need to create a cost element category. So here you need to select, this is what account setting in controlling area. So here in the cost element category you need to select the category which is 1, right? And then press enter and then go in create bank interest. I'm gonna select here G004, which is cost accounts, and then save it. So this is how you're gonna create a primary cost element in SAP S/4HANA. And if you want to create a secondary cost element similar like the way we created in SAP ECC, the machine hours. So I'm gonna enter. Okay, right now we don't have any secondary cost element created here. So the code is 5000, which is assigned for account groups. So create. So this is what GL account type is secondary cost. Account group you need to select, that is a secondary cost element, and this is our machine hours. In group account number, you need to select the group account number. Here you need to check. Okay, we do have printing expense here. Okay, I'm gonna enter under this machine activity, and in the control data you need to check only balance in local currency, sort key you can give 001, and cost element category here now, because that is a secondary cost element, so I'm gonna select here, that is 43 internal activity allocation. Enter, and the create bank interest I'm gonna select right now G001, enter, and then save it. So this is how you will create a secondary cost element in SAP S/4HANA. I'm just gonna change that one, that we enter the purchases account, the printing expense account, the group account is already there. Enter and save it. So that is the difference we have in SAP EC6 and SAP S/4HANA, and this is how we can create primary and secondary cost element in EC6 and S/4HANA.